Привет, меня зовут Адам, и я русский студент. И я напоминаю, русский хорошо из-за, когда я, ам, no, нет, когда я изучаю русский, подожди, моя учительница не только сказать по, по-русскому, и I'm not fluent. Я забыл слово to be fluent. Долго я знаю слово. Anyways, I actually first went over to Russia, well, to Ukraine, in 2001. And since I have the Olympics this year again, things similar to it, I have my Ukrainian World Cup jersey from with Shevchenko. I like him a lot, even though he's gone now. But he was one of my favorite players. И иногда я пропустил Украину. I like it a lot. A lot of different things from teaching to helping out with like an orphanage or something like that. I'm bored with that. But anyways, one of my friends asked me exactly what Russian books or study stuff do you have for studying Russian? Подожди. Jesus. So what stuff do I have for studying Russian? Well, I saw this on my shelf while I was talking. These are the Viz-Ed ones, the 1,000 more commonly used Russian words. Basically what they are just a bunch of words. For instance, the word kino по-английски, movie, и кинотеатр, movie theater. It just has 1,000 really common words like movie, kniga, ковер, carpet, когда, when, кожа, skin, skin or leather. But they're really useful cards. I had some from when I was in Greek, taking Greek. Interesting language also. Also Spanish or Swahili or other languages. Other languages are interesting. Another thing that I have that goes along with the series, I never really used it, but it's grammar cards for English speakers that explain Russian grammar. Use them to test your knowledge of Russian grammar. Who knows? Maybe it's helpful. I'll just pull a random card out. Привет, собака. Подожди. Давай, lady. Lady. Моя собака, ее зовут Lady. Я люблю маму. Хорошо, собака. Okay. I guess it has like an index at the beginning of what the word things are. On double negative. That's weird. Let's just kind of go down now. Huh. It's a lot of information for one card. Like, for instance, adjectives and their use in Russian. And here's the backside. These are obtained by dropping all or part of the adjective ending, like novi, novoye, novaya, novie. Huh, interesting. Just grammatical flashcards to help teach you Russian grammar. I don't know, that's kind of interesting. Accusative, declension variations. Huh. Don't really know. I don't really understand a lot of grammar, but I'm working on trying to get better. Okay, Vade. Another item that I have that's useful for studying Russian grammar. I left all my note cards out by the kitchen table because I've been working on them a little bit. There's Rosetta Stone, the Russian version. And I also have the unlicensed version of Rosetta Stone. For the Totale one, somebody gave it to me. It's not the real one. This one I've had for a while. Rosetta Stone's a decent program, but it's not always the way that I want. There's a box of note cards that somebody wrote. Or apparently, like Yazik. Except I think they messed up a little bit. Because Yazik also means language besides the word tongue. Here's something that I found. It was laying around one day. And I thought it was cool. Cool. Yeah, that'll work. I know that word. It's some sort of Russian verb wheel. You move the arrow around. To the word. That word is работать. And it says something, some sort of Russian abbreviations where it's работает, работаешь, работает, работает, again, и работают. Kind of like they, he, she, you. I'm not sure what that is. Why it's that way. Well, it's interesting. I also have more words on the back. This has nothing to do with it, but I was showing one of my friends this. That's what hangs on my bathroom door if anybody ever visits me. And that sun from that window is really bright. Yeah. Туалет очень занят. Bathroom's really busy. Он работает. He's working. Interesting. Or I keep that on my bedroom door. Sonata, Obras Spa, Ovogo, Invita. E Pomniejszynio, Sročno, that's a really weird word. Tradujecja, Oborka. These two I kind of like. And I like my sabaka. I also have this. Learn Russian from Chick-fil-A. Guaranteed to teach your kids Russian. It's an audio language program for learning Russian from a restaurant that sells chicken. But their chicken is pretty good. God only knows where I found that. Interesting. I also have a bunch of different Russian books. This book's about Nicholas and Alexandra, the Tsar and Tsarina, может быть, of Russia. Let's see. It's interesting. It talks about some of the history of those two. I have another book called, I have a lot of them. Never really read it, but I randomly found it somewhere. The Russians by Hendrik Smith. He's a writer for the New York Times. Yeah. It looks like it talks about the people of Russia. Russians are people. How children are treated between parent and teacher. And different subjects. Some of them are kind of interesting, actually. An introduction to information about Russia. And this one's by Harrison E. Salisbury. Just kind of information about Russia. Never really read it. I don't know why I have it. Probably from getting a lot of books from people. This one is called Russia and the West by from Peter to Kurush, Может быть. I want to see the word in Russian, please. It's hard when I don't see the word in Russian. It's by J. Olivia, and it's actually for studying Russian. Some of the old books that they used to use for studying Russian in the U.S., like history and stuff. Like that stuff about like Peter the Great, the 8th century, 18th century, and all sorts of other things like that. Russian, Age of Stalin, just a lot of Russian history. I like a lot of history books, as you can kind of tell by this room. This book's kind of interesting. It's called The Soviet Almanac. Now, the Soviet Almanac has like a bunch of famous pictures from around Russia, and it shows you like different people groups of Russia, what they're about, and just these little things about them. So you can learn about different people groups, about different things in Russia, see some different stuff, and I think it's kind of cool. The Soviet Almanac. The next book that I have, found it for really cheap. It's I found it for 10 cents. I bought it from somebody for 10 cents. It's by Piers Wichiewski. It's a book about the Reindeer People, and it's kind of a guide to knowing anything and everything about the Reindeer People of Russia. One of my friends always used to tell me that'd be an interesting people group to teach English to in Russia. You know, I think it might be. Hey, babe. How are you, babe? Good girl. The next book that I have is called The Russian Revolution by Sheila Fitzpatrick. Kind of goes over history of the Russian revolutions from 1917 to 1932. And it's all in English. Hey, babe. The next one that I have is a group of 3 books about the Byzantine Empire. And that one. It gives an early history of the area during the Byzantine times. And it's pretty interesting because it do contain parts of Russian stuff. I remember studying that stuff because I like reading stuff like that in history. Don't even remember where I had this. This book's called the Odessa File. It is by Frederick Forsyth. It's a Viking book. Something about, I figured, you know, Odessa, Ukraine. What? I have no idea. Germany. Something about the war, I think. Yeah, I don't really read it. It's just there. I love that thing. It's a good motto. Another thing that I have, the book, is the official National Geographic book for Russia. What it has is a collection of the different pictures and things in the National Geographic books from Russia. It's really cool. There goes the map. Karta. Karta? Mapu. It's quite cool. I like it. These were during the Soviet times, some of these pictures. Some of them were from like the 1950s and 60s even. But it's interesting. And National Geographic It generally puts out some pretty good books. Lady. This one is a book about like art, famous artworks within Russia. I know, lady. Hold on. Lady, подожди. Каенсе? Сиди. Lady. Хорошо. Хорошо. Good girl. Alright. This book, it has like a collection of Russian art and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And it shows like different art renderings and talks about like famous works of art from Russia. Like art at the theater in Russia. It's the Horizon Book of Arts of Russia. And the editors are Horizon Magazine. It's from the American Heritage Publishing Company of New York. Well, it's interesting. It's a good book. There's no way I could put everything in my suitcases. Sabata. Lady. I'll be right back. Lady, come on. Goodbye. Goodbye. Come on, lady. Goodbye, Sabata. Okay, I'm back. Not if Lady has too much to say about it. Lady! Okay. A couple other books that I have that are pretty close to me are my Russian Bible, English Russian Bible, self-explanatory. That's the New Testament also. I read it so much. I'll be back. Some dog's doing something outside. Lady doesn't like it. Lady. Alright, I'm back. Anyways. Muy grueso. One of the other books that I also have in Spanish, when I was studying Spanish a lot, is 501 Russian Verbs. This book is a great book. It shows you how to conjugate different verbs and tells you the definition of a lot of the irregular verbs. Another book that I picked up at the Goodwill. I don't know why I picked it up. It's, well, because it said Russia, of course. It's, Russia and the Soviet Union, the 6th edition. It's a historical introduction from Kievan state to the present. I'll move a little bit faster because I have a lot of books. This one is the official Time Life book series for Russia. And it's from the Time Life magazines. And it talks about Russia. And it shows different pictures and talks about things about Russia and kind of what it's like in Russia, or in some cases what it was like in Russia. Interesting pictures, though. This book right here, it was my first Russian grammar book that I ever picked up. I found it at a bookstore when I was looking to see some things about Russian. That was back when I had no idea that they even had something different from the typing that you see in books. Because at first I was writing and writing, I'm like, what? That's weird. How can you... I thought it was a different language at first when I saw handwriting. But yeah, it's kind of completely stupid now. This book is supposed to explain all the Russian grammatical rules, like the declension of nouns in the feminine, irregular feminine declensions in Russian. Or, declension of feminine nouns in the singular. Lots of different Russian rules. It's by Nicholas Maltzol. I mean, this could be useful. Another Russian book that I have is my English to Russian dictionary. It's one of my favorites. It's the only one based off of American English. Most of them are based off of British English, or something like that. Or Aussie. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Aussie English. Alright. Lady, alright. What's up? What year do you have to let me know about? Lady's back again. She's barking because some other dog's been barking outside for a while. This book, when talking to many different organizations, like different ones that I could work for, or different ones based upon the religion that I am. A lot of them said that this is the best Russian grammar workbook for a native English speaker. It's called Schwam's Russian Grammar. I think it definitely could be, but I'm not completely familiar. Is that your buddy? That ends part 1 of my video. I'm going to do more parts.